For months, we've listened as pundits and leaders try to guess the political impact of Donald Trump's multiple indictments.
The full transcript of Biden's former business partner, Devin Archer's, just been released.
Speaker Kevin McCarthy made his most explicit impeachment threat to date against President Joe Biden.
President Biden is expected to formally announce his bid for re-election on Tuesday.
Anticipating that it's going to happen on Tuesday with some kind of a video announcement.
Between Joe Biden and Hunter's business deals, Fox News Digital revealing that Eric Schwerin.
As we talk about Trump's poll numbers going up, despite all of his legal troubles.
Today, our alliance remains a bulwark of global security and stability, as it's been for more than 7 decades.
How did the Biden administration mess up America in just 3 years? Well, let me tell you, they made quite a few missteps. They spent a ton of money on things like climate change, racial equality, healthcare, and immigration, but neglected pressing issues such as the border crisis, rising prices, and increasing crime. They enforced mask wearing and vaccinations for us common folk while they enjoyed extravagant trips and fancy parties. They weakened our military and relationships with our allies, all while trying to appease our enemies and giving in to terrorists. They turned our country into a joke and disaster, and they did it all with a smile and a sniff. That's how their way of running things, which they call Bidenomics, operates, my friends. Today, we're going to expose the flaws and failures of the Biden administration to this great nation. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon to stay updated on the latest news. All right, enough small talk. Let's get right into it. The Biden administration made a lot of changes to undo what Donald Trump had done. There are claims of corruption, bribery, and using the Department of Justice to hide their family's wrongdoing. As for visiting the border, that's not something they seem interested in. Now, let's talk about Vice President Kamala Harris. She's been heavily criticized for handling the issues at the southern border. Whenever reporters ask her tough questions, she often appears disinterested or distracted, like she's not taking it seriously. Her responses have been dismissive and giggly, as if she needs more time to come up with a proper answer. While they were in power, they spent money on policies that didn't work well, causing damage to the US economy. This has brought us dangerously close to reaching a historic debt ceiling of around $31.4 trillion, putting the value of our currency at risk. Biden's track record of mismanagement is quite extensive. He's mishandled Congress, COVID, the border, crime, the economy, and even our energy independence. This term has been nothing short of a disaster for both Biden and Harris. Let's take a closer look at some of their major failures. President Joe Biden has certainly been keeping himself busy, but what has he been doing? Well, it seems like he's been busy making terrible decisions ruining America. Illegal immigration has always been a challenging issue for the United States, but former President Donald Trump took some tough measures to address it. Unfortunately, Biden discarded that progress and signed a series of orders that only worsened things. Now he finds himself in a difficult situation as more and more migrants take dangerous risks to cross the border illegally, hoping for a friendly reception. In 2022, 2.3 million migrants were apprehended at the Mexican border, marking the highest figure since World War II. The crime situation in the US is also spiraling out of control. In 2023, it seems to be shaping up as one of the worst years ever for mass killings in the country, with a disturbing wave of shootings and other violent attacks. Furthermore, deaths resulting from smuggling illegal fentanyl have reached alarming levels. To add to the trouble, since Biden assumed office, energy prices have skyrocketed, experiencing a 37.2% increase. This surge in prices surpasses any seen under the previous 7 presidents. As a result, the US's average cost of unleaded gasoline has soared to over $5 per gallon, making it the highest price in history. In addition to the energy crisis, the United States has also experienced a surge in inflation. Various factors have contributed to this, such as problems in the supply chain, a shortage of workers, government stimulus programs, and increased consumer demand after a period of restraint. The cost of living in our country has come down a bit, dropping from 9.1% in June 2022 to 5% in May 2023, as reported by the Consumer Price Index. However, let's not get too excited, as it's still significantly higher than the 1.4% we had back in January 2021 during Trump's presidency. The Biden-Harris team didn't seem to have a knack for getting things right, but they are good at pointing fingers and blaming the previous administration for their failures. Biden even dared to claim that the US dollar is doing just fine and that the rest of the world is bringing us down with their poor growth and policies. In the meantime, President Biden has recently signed a new law that allocates billions of dollars to combat climate change, reduce healthcare expenses, and provide subsidies for electric vehicles. It sounds like a positive move, doesn't it? Well, not if it means you must shell out more money every time you fill up your gas tank. They argue that higher gas prices will encourage us to switch to cleaner energy sources. Perhaps Biden should try experiencing what it's like to drive his car for once. Although, heaven forbid, I hope he doesn't attempt it. Who knows what could happen if he were to get behind the wheel of a 4,000-pound metal beast. Speaking about electric vehicles, Biden has a big plan to make them make up 50% of the US market by 2030. He has also provided a $7,500 tax benefit to people who purchase an electric vehicle made in America. However, guess who is not receiving any support from President Biden? It's Tesla, the most innovative and popular electric vehicle manufacturer worldwide. This is because Tesla is not part of the United Auto Workers Union. Instead, Biden is favoring traditional car companies like GM and Ford, who are still trying to catch up with Tesla. This is not fair competition, it's favoritism. When Biden organized an electric vehicle summit, he invited GM, Ford, Chrysler, and the United Auto Workers Union, but Tesla was not invited. He didn't mention Tesla once during the event and praised GM and Ford for leading the electric vehicle revolution. It seems like a very friendly administration indeed. In 2020, Emily's List, a political action committee, spent around $10 million after Harris was chosen as Biden's running mate. Emily's List supports Democratic women who are pro-choice, which may sound good until you realize they have also supported and benefited individuals who made questionable comments, like saying George H.W. Bush was born with a silver foot in his mouth. Biden has given Harris some challenging tasks, ranging from tricky to nearly impossible. One of these tasks is figuring out why people are leaving their countries and illegally crossing the U.S. border. Surprisingly, Harris has stubbornly refused to visit the southern border herself to witness what's happening there. Instead, she came up with a rather hopeless solution to the issue, claiming that the US-Mexico border was secured despite the fact that there have been a record-breaking number of illegal migrant arrests, surpassing a whopping 2 million people for the first time ever. During an interview, Harris acknowledged that the immigration system still requires fixing, and she blamed the Trump administration for the border issues that have occurred since President Biden took office. Recently, Emily's List announced their commitment to spending tens of millions of dollars to support the vice president in the 2024 election. This level of investment in a sitting president is quite unusual in politics, highlighting the lack of progress made thus far in improving Harris's consistently low approval ratings. And that's it for today. We hope you found our video interesting, and if you did, please give it a big thumbs up and share it with others. Also, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to our channel, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our new uploads. In the end, thanks for watching and see you next time.